The Constitutional Declaration violates the rights of the Syrian components. This title has recently become a national anthem for many YouTubers and civil society activists who focused on the clause regarding the religion of the President of the Republic while ignoring other disasters in the Constitutional Declaration. I see it as our duty to clarify some details and misconceptions that some have stated and that many have ignored. Among the most prominent contradictions in the provisions of the new Syrian Constitutional Declaration, and here I speak technically as a technocrat and not as an oppositionist. 1. The contradiction of the principle of equality with Article 3. Article 10 affirms that citizens are equal before the law without discrimination based on race, religion, or gender, while Article 3 states that the religion of the President of the Republic is Islam and that Islamic jurisprudence is the main source of legislation. This could create legal discrimination against non-Muslims and contradict the principle of equal citizenship. 2. Lack of clarity regarding the role of civil legislation versus Islamic jurisprudence. Article 3 makes Islamic jurisprudence the main source of legislation, but does not specify how it aligns with the international human rights charters mentioned in Article 12. This could lead to contradictions in personal status laws or punishments, potentially creating legal issues, especially with groups classified as Muslim but having their own specificities, such as Druze, Alawites, Ismailis, and Shia, as well as unrecognized sects in Syrian law like the Murshidis, Yazidis, and Sabians. Of course, many of you will ask why Christians were not mentioned, and I say to you that Christians or Jews are not included in Islamic jurisprudence because they have their own personal status laws and they are covered by the Constitutional Declaration in Article 3, Clause 3. Personal status for religious sects is safeguarded and respected according to the law. 3. The President's absolute authority, informing the Parliament. Article 24. The President appoints 1/3 of the members of the People's Assembly, while the remaining 2/3 are elected through sub-bodies subject to a committee appointed by the President himself. This gives the President near complete control over the legislative authority, contradicting the principle of separation of powers mentioned in Article 2. 4. The President's extensive powers versus the weakness of the judiciary. The President appoints the Supreme Constitutional Court, Article 47, which may threaten judicial independence. The absence of clear guarantees for the independence of the Supreme Judicial Council. 5. Lack of real guarantees for transitional justice. Article 48 refers to the necessity of achieving transitional justice, but does not specify clear mechanisms or guarantee the existence of independent courts to prosecute previous crimes, despite proposing mechanisms in Clause 49 in general. 6. The issue of imposing a single linguistic identity in a multicultural society. Article 4 states that Arabic is the official language, while Article 7 recognizes cultural diversity without a clear guarantee for other languages, which could harm the rights of minorities. 7. Issues in organizing parties and political freedoms. Article 14 states that the formation of parties must be based on national grounds, which is an unclear expression and could be used to exclude certain parties. The absence of transparent criteria for party registration opens the door to political manipulation. Recommendations to correct the errors. 1. Achieve real separation of powers. Reduce the President's powers in appointing members of the People's Assembly and the Constitutional Council to ensure a real balance between the authorities. 2. Ensure judicial independence. Amend Article 47 so that members of the Supreme Constitutional Court are chosen by the People's Assembly and not solely by the President. Grant the Supreme Judicial Council actual powers to ensure judicial independence. 3. Reconsider Article 3 to ensure equality. Islam can remain the state religion without Islamic jurisprudence being the sole source of legislation to ensure the rights of religious minorities. 4. Establish clear mechanisms for transitional justice. Create an independent body to hold accountable those responsible for past violations and establish programs to compensate victims. 5. Enhance political freedoms. Amend Article 14 to ensure the freedom to form parties based on transparent democratic criteria and not impose vague restrictions such as national grounds. 6. Reconsider the texts related to language. guarantee the rights of other languages in areas with linguistic minorities, as is the case in multinational democratic constitutions. The main dilemma in the Constitutional Declaration is not all the previous clauses, but clause Article 52, which defines the transitional period as 5 calendar years. This would mean no elections would be held during this entire period, and the justification presented to the media, that he wants the participation of the entire Syrian people and to obtain a new population census, is certainly unconvincing. In Iraq, when elections were held after the fall of the Syrian regime, there was significant public participation of 58%, but participation varied by region, weak in Sunni areas due to boycotts and security threats. Elections after the fall of regimes usually witness a high participation rate, but this does not indicate the success of democracy. For example, Egypt and Libya saw good turnout, but political instability led to a regression in the democratic process. In Syria, the situation is different. The northeastern regions of Syria, which comprise about 4 to 5 million people, are safe. Idlib, which has 3 million, is safe. The Swida region, with 0.5 million, is safe. And the coast is relatively safe, especially in the cities, allowing 2 million people to vote. Outside Syria, through embassies, it is possible to secure voting for 5 million because they are safe. Thus, the group that may be unsafe is less than 5 million people, so there is no need to wait 5 years, as waiting will exacerbate problems and may lead to divisions in the Syrian state. These signs have begun to appear since the moment of the Constitutional Declaration.